Ladies and gentlemen, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and there you go. I gave you some action before I started talking. Regardless, we're putting back our hydraulic cylinder, and we're still working on our temporary flat spot here. And you saw we've already put the threads on here, so we have the end and our nut works on there. We set it up and we centered our first hole, and now we need to go ahead and put our piston on here and locate that hole and put the spring pin in there. But we first have to, here's our other wipers and our other O-rings that we didn't have in stock. We had a lot of this in stock, and here's the O-ring that goes inside here. So just a little light coat of the boy butter on there, and of course the veterans taught me this language that I have for these technical terms of lubricant and other things in the trade. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that onto the O-ring here, just so that it'll go in here not dry. And of course you could do hydraulic. Everybody has their different particulars that they like to use, and and we're just keeping this from traveling all the way through, and we're going to get it to pop into that O-ring groove that's inside there. Alright, that's in there. Okay, just another robocall. Alright, so we're gonna get this started on here. I do see one little area there that's not okay. There we go. Alright, now our spring pin, we're just going to tap that into there. We may go put this in a vise, or in our 3-job we prefer, and we'll tap that into place. There we go. It could go just a little bit more. We could set it down in there. That surface doesn't touch or anything else. These pins here are a little more stout than regular roll pins. All right. Now we'll go drill the other hole. We've cleaned up our block, and we just put the, well, I should say, this is the one that had the scores in them. And we took the whizzy wheel and we just knocked off the brunt of the roughness in there. We don't want to take anything off the diameter because this still guides. The bronze is a guide, although it never really, if everything is in line and everything's under pressure, you're riding on your seals. Your seals will actually have enough to hold this thing from rubbing metal to metal. But the cap is bronze and it's made to be a bushing guide as well. All right. So now we're going to take, and we have, make sure I'm grabbing the new ones here and not the old one. Okay, that's the old one. Okay, there's the new one. Same thing here, just a little light coat of the boy butter on there. And I'm going to put this in from the back side here because I want it to go in on the cylinder side of the backup ring, because the backup is backing up the back side of the pressure. And it rolls right in there. Really nice. And you look down in there, make sure that the split of the backup ring is laying in the right configuration. It is. And then we finger in just a little bit of boy butter, and that one's ready there. And this O-ring here on the outside, we got a new one there, and we go ahead and put a light coating on that as well and put that in place. Okay, Now we're going to grab the other cap, and we got to pull out, oh, by getting ahead of ourselves. We got to put the wiper in here. All right, so yeah, I think I opened one of these already, and I did. And here's our wiper. The same thing, same configuration, and I matched up, and I pull it out just to make sure that everything is 100% exactly the same, and it is. And although this is a lot more pliable than that, it's seen a little bit of age there, and we just gently push that into spot there. Oh, there we go. Just was caught on the edge. All right. Same thing again. Make sure they're a little bit moist on the inside, and we're good to go. Okay, now that cap is ready. Now we're going to dig out the old seal on this other side here. You know, it's best to keep your pressure in your direction of the pointed end of your scribes going away from your hands. So going like this and possibly stabbing your hand somewhere around in there, it does happen. Okay, and that seal went flying over there, and we'll get down underneath here, and we're going to pop out just that O-ring. There we go. Now we're going to blow that out with compressed air. We're going to leave the backup ring right in there. There's nothing wrong with that there, and there's not really any dirt in there. We just want to make sure we clear out anything else. We wire wheeled these on the outside, mechanically clean, that's what they call that. And here again, we're going to make sure we get the right O-ring, the nice new flexible softy. Okay, and we're going to put it in from this side here again. And we're just reaching in here so that we make sure that we're getting it started in there. All right. There we go. And we'll open up and we'll get the other wiper. Okay, and there we go. Flip it over. Let's pull this O-ring out of here. And we're not sure which the old one is, so we're going to grab a new one out of the bag. You have to buy a bag of 100 of them, so why waste time with a magnifying glass and just grab one? You know you got a new one. All right, there we go. Okay, our two rod ends caps are done, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put all of these seals into, I'm going to put them in all the old parts into this bag so the customer will have them. That's our new nylock nut for the clevis in. Okay, that's the old seal. We're going to be putting in that one there, and there's our old wipers. There we go. Okay, so what we got is we got the 2 backup rings and we got the brand new O-ring that's going to go on the piston. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take the new center seal O-ring and we're going to put that on up here. There we go. And then we're going to take, we're putting the white side or the clean side onto each side of that O-ring. Alright, and then you got to make sure your splits, the dovetail or the wedge is going in the right direction. We're going to rotate it 180. Not that it's a seal or anything like a piston ring, but like a habit. Okay, now we got it on there. Now we're going to go ahead and just take a little extra boy butter and put it in here so we got some good lubrication while it slides through that little barrel. And we're going to slide it into the tube. Now the punch mark on the tube has got to go on this end here. There's our punch mark. We know that it's on the threaded side. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to set this in here. Let's see. Okay, that goes through and almost aligns with that cylinder. So we're actually going to set this onto, and we had our punch mark on the top and our punch marks there. So we're going to line this up like that. And that should just pop in there by hand. If you get the O-ring just right. There you go. Okay. Now when we put this in here, we're going to be able to put it through that rod end over there and rotate this around, just making sure that we get that wiper or the backup inside there. And just a little tiny butt on the back side there, and roll it around. We just want to make sure that we can see that gap right there, and everything is going inside, and everything is going inside. Now we're holding the butt end of this, and we're just palming this. Okay, now we're going to take a rubber mallet, and that's what we're tapping on the end of the threads. We're holding it. I mean, it doesn't take much, but it takes a little bit more than, there we go, the back of my hand, the palm of my hand. All right, now we can go ahead and we can slide the other end over the end here, and we're just going to put another little lubrication in here, gently over the threads. Okay, we got that end on there, and we're gonna push it into there. All right, now we should be able to go ahead and put our threaded piece on here, and there's our double punch mark there, so that should feed through there and continue on through there. All right, we'll put our nuts on there, and then we're gonna pressure test this in both directions and soap it and just make sure that we have no leaks on our seals and make sure that nothing got damaged on the assembly. We've cycled our cylinder back and forth, and I got my little soap bottle here. Now I know this is only 105 psi we have on our regulator, and it's a rubber tip nozzle. I'm holding up against the threads there, and we're putting a little soap around, and we're not finding any leaks there. We flip it over, we push our cylinder back the other direction so that our load is on the piston going that way. and we don't have any bubbling going on. All right, we'll put a couple plugs in the ports there, and we'll put our end back on. There was a little tight. There we go. Okay, now we know that they're at least, and that's because it's going to build up a certain amount of pressure on its travel. All right, and we'll put the rod end on here. Okay, now this goes into the arm of the tiller, and then had this jam nut on here, and he was having a problems with it backing off, so we picked up a nylock nut now that can go on here and securely tighten that up and hold it from vibrating loose there. So he's going to be happy about that. And now we'll just go ahead and we'll put our end back on that end. Alright, now we can slide this here, and this is going to go in the same position here. Right there, we had that punch mark, and we knew that these were up on top. So, it's just like that. Now here again, we're going to have to push that rod all the way in. So we'll have to pull our little caps out here, and we'll set those off to the side here. Getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but there we go. And okay, we just brought that up to where we can almost feel it start pulling in, but we want to put the other one in here before we actually draw those in, just in case there's a slight bit of an issue with the alignment on them. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hold that one down there, and there we go. Okay, that works for me. Alright, give them half the travel there, and we'll put our plugs back in. Alright, I'm ready to call a customer and tell him his little cylinder here is ready to rock and roll. We know it's not going to leak. Now, ideally, having a hydraulic test bench is the proper way to test hydraulic cylinders. And when I was in the yards, we had such facilities. And I do the test as much as I can do here. But my customer service is second to none. And any customer here on the Cape knows that they have an issue with something, they bring it right on back, and I jump right on it, and we resolve whatever it is. So if I have to pull that apart and put another O-ring because one might got a little damage or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's what I do. That's walk the talk. All right, a handful of O-rings, a couple wipers, a new nylock, a new piece of stainless shaft in there, or stainless rod. It's actually a precision ground rod I put in there. That's not just a piece of cold finish stainless. That's precision rod because we're talking about seals. All right, and it is grade 316, so it stands up to the marine environment. And he got a little cleanup, mechanically clean on his outside the cylinder there, and he's ready to rock and roll. All right, we're going to go in the other room and talk a little bit about my other things going on at the other end of the shop, Until next time, get her done. Alright, I'm just transferring in some free fonts, calligraphy fonts is in particular, into my PlasmaCAM Design Edge software so that I can engrave the top of the cloud here for you on your iron rose. I've had a couple requests here since the first 4 hours. I sold out of every rose that we had, and of course that was for the Mother's Day rush. But I have a half a dozen more emails, and I have roses on order right now, and you can do the same thing by going to my website, and on the Iron Rose page there, you'll see the email address, and you just click on my email address, list your topic Iron Rose, and tell me the color that you want, and or you want to work on any engraving or whatever. We'll still do the colored roses in the option. I'll have those on backup, and we'll get those. We also are going to do some plain roses where we have the silver rose and hand and base, and just color the stem. And we're also going to have some bronze where the rose and the hand are bronze, and then just color the stem itself, and then the engraving as well. That's going to open up the door for a lot of the good special days and the anniversaries and stuff like that. I have one right now that I'm going to be putting together as a promo, and I'll share that in the next post there. We pretty well wore out this grate on my PlasmaCAM is over a year old. I think it's actually 2017 I picked up that grate, so it's about time. I flipped it over and rotated it around all 8 different directions you can run that table in there. It just slowly starts shrinking, and I need to replace it, so I'm going to be working on that this week. But we're going to get back into action here, and I just finished cutting out a couple hundred of the Patriotic Attitude keychain holders for the vets, and I've got to put together my batch that I'm going to be sending down to the barracks in Missouri there, and after that I'll have these up on the website too as well, so that you can procure them, and you can give them out to a vet you know, or if you like to have one yourself, they'll be available. Alright, that's kind of a short on what else is going on in here, and until next time, get her done again.